burning scroll in Chrono's hands was turning into black ash. The fire was not orange or red like normal fire. It was black and purple. It hissed like a snake. The supreme Kai of time was shaking. Her small hands were trembling as she held the paper. Goku looked at the image on the scroll before it burned away completely. It was a picture of a round, white space pod. It was the pod that brought him to Earth when he was a baby. In the picture, the pod was cracking open in the cold darkness of space. It was exploding. Gohan stepped forward. He put a hand on his father's shoulder. He could feel Goku's muscles tensing up. Goku was usually calm, but this was different. This was his very beginning. If that pod exploded, then Goku would never arrive on Earth. He would never meet Grandpa Gohan. He would never meet Bulma or Krillin. He would never fight Frieza or Cell. He would never marry Chi-Chi. And that meant Gohan would never be born. Pan would never be born. The entire history of their world would be erased in 1 second. The Grand Priest looked at the ashes falling on the white floor of the palace. His face was very serious. He said that Kamba was not just attacking with brute force anymore. Kamba was attacking their memories. He was attacking the foundation of their reality. If he could not defeat them in the present, he would kill them in the past. It was a cowardly tactic, but it was very dangerous. Chronoa spoke up. Her voice was high and scared. She said that a void agent had been sent back in time. It was headed for age 737. That was the year planet Vegeta was destroyed. That was the year Goku was sent to Earth. The agent was going to intercept the pod in deep space. Vegeta walked up to the group. His face was pale. Age 737 was a terrible year for him too. It was the year he lost his kingdom. It was the year his father died. It was the year he became a slave to Frieza. He clenched his fist so hard that his gloves made a creaking sound. He asked Chronoa how they could stop it. He asked if they could go back. Chronoa nodded. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a new scroll. This one was glowing with a soft golden light. She said she could open a gate, but it was risky. The timeline was already unstable because of the void agent. If they went back, they had to be careful. They could not change anything else. They only had to stop the agent and make sure the pod landed safely. If they changed anything else, they might create a time paradox that would be just as bad as the void. The Grand Priest made a decision. He said that not everyone could go. Someone had to stay here to protect Zeno and the palace, in case Kamba attacked again from the void. He said that Toppo and Dispo and the other Pride Troopers should stay. Beerus and Whis should stay too, because their power was too great for the past timeline. If a god of destruction went to the past, the universe might break just from his presence. That left Gohan and Goku and Vegeta and Jiren. Jiren stepped forward. He said he would go. He said he was not part of Universe 7, so he had no emotional connection to the past. He could think clearly. He would make sure the mission was a success. Gohan looked at Jiren and nodded. Having Jiren was a huge relief. He was the strongest mortal alive. Chronoa opened the scroll. She threw it into the air. It unrolled and expanded until it became a giant doorway made of golden light. Inside the doorway, they could see swirling clouds of time. They could see clocks spinning backward. They could see flashes of history. Goku took a deep breath. He looked at Gohan. He said, "Let's go save my past." Gohan nodded. He felt the fire of determination in his chest. He was not going to let anyone erase his family. He was going to protect his father's history, no matter what. They jumped into the light. Traveling through time was not like traveling through space. In the travel cube, it felt smooth. But inside the time stream, it felt like being inside a washing machine. The colors were too bright. The sounds were too loud. Gohan felt like his body was being stretched and squeezed. He saw flashes of images passing by him. He saw himself fighting Cell. He saw himself going to high school. He saw himself holding Pan for the first time. Then suddenly, the spinning stopped. They were thrown out of the portal. They were floating in deep space. It was silent. It was cold. The stars were bright and sharp. There was no sound at all. Gohan looked around. He saw that they were surrounded by asteroids. They were in an asteroid belt on the edge of the galaxy. Vegeta floated next to him. Vegeta was looking in a specific direction. His eyes were wide. Gohan looked too. Far away in the distance there was a cloud of orange dust. It was glowing. It looked like a nebula. But Vegeta knew what it was. He whispered that it was planet Vegeta, or what was left of it. Frieza had just destroyed it. The dust was the remains of the Saiyan homeworld. Gohan felt a wave of sadness coming from Vegeta. Even though Vegeta always acted tough, Gohan knew that losing his home still hurt him. But Vegeta shook his head. He pushed the feelings down. He pointed to the right. He said, "Look." There was a small white sphere moving through the asteroids. It was a Saiyan space pod. It was moving fast. Inside that pod was a baby named Kakarot. Goku looked at the pod. His eyes were soft. He was looking at himself. It was a very strange feeling. He saw the small, round ship that saved his life. He remembered what Bardock and Genie had done for him. They had sent him away to save him. But then the silence of space was broken. A rip appeared in the darkness. It looked like someone had taken a knife and cut the black fabric of space. Purple smoke poured out of the cut. A figure stepped out of the smoke. It was the Void Agent. He was not like the shadow soldiers they fought before. He was tall and thin. He wore armor made of grey metal that looked like bones. He had a long tail with a sharp blade at the end. His face was covered by a smooth white mask with a single purple line down the middle. He did not have eyes. He sensed things with the void, energy. Chrono's voice echoed in their heads. She was speaking to them telepathically from the future. She said, "That is him. That is Agent Null. He is an assassin created by Kamba. Do not let him touch the pod." Agent Null turned his head. He sensed the pod. He raised his hand. A spear of black energy formed in his palm. He threw the spear. It flew through space faster than a bullet. It was heading straight for the baby Goku ship. Gohan moved instantly. He did not even think. He used his beast speed. He vanished and reappeared in the path of the spear. He swatted the spear away with his hand. The spear hit a nearby asteroid and exploded. The asteroid turned into dust instantly. Agent Null tilted his head. He seemed surprised that someone had stopped his attack. He looked at Gohan. Then he looked at Goku and Vegeta and Jiren. A low growling sound came from his throat. It was a sound like rocks grinding together. Agent Null spoke. His voice was scratchy and distorted. He said, "You are the anomalies. You are the ones who resist the void. You are too late. The history will be corrected. The Saiyan race ends here." Vegeta flew forward. His blue aura exploded around him. He turned Super Saiyan Blue. He shouted that the Saiyan race would never end as long as he was breathing. He flew at Agent Null and threw a punch. Agent Null dodged the punch by shifting his body into smoke. Vegeta's fist went through the smoke. Agent Null solidified behind Vegeta and kicked him in the back. Vegeta flew forward and crashed into an asteroid. He bounced off and spun around. He was angry. He fired a volley of ki blasts. Agent Null did not dodge. He opened his mouth and a black hole appeared in front of him. The black hole swallowed Vegeta's blasts. Then Agent Null fired them back. Vegeta had to cross his arms to block his own attacks. Goku said this guy is tricky. He uses the enemy's power against them. Goku turned Super Saiyan God. His hair turned red. He wanted to use speed. He flew at Agent Null from the side. Jiren flew from the other side. They attacked together. Agent Null was fast. He blocked Goku's kick with his left arm and Jiren's punch with his right arm. But the impact pushed him back. He was strong, but he was not stronger than Jiren. Jiren pushed harder. His red aura flared. He punched Agent Null in the stomach. Agent Null flew backward. He crashed into a large rock. He stood up and shook his head. He realized he could not beat 4 powerful warriors in a fair fight. So he decided to cheat. He raised both hands. The purple line on his mask started to glow. He shouted, "Void summon, shadows rise from the past, feed on their memories." The purple smoke around him expanded. It took the shape of 2 warriors. The smoke swirled and hardened. It turned into colors. When the smoke cleared, 2 figures were standing there. Goku and Vegeta stopped moving. They froze in shock. The first figure was a Saiyan man with wild black hair and a scar on his cheek. He wore green and black Saiyan armor. He had a red headband soaked in blood. He looked exactly like Goku. It was Bardock. The second figure was a Saiyan man with hair that stood straight up and a goatee beard. He wore a red cape and royal armor with the crest of the royal family. He looked proud and cruel. It was King Vegeta. But they were not the real Bardock and King Vegeta. Their eyes were black with purple pupils. Their skin was grey. They were void puppets created from the memories of Goku and Vegeta. Agent Null had pulled their worst fears and deepest longings out of their minds and gave them form. Agent Null laughed. He said, "Fight your fathers, kill your past or die by its hand." Shadow King. Vegeta looked at the real Vegeta. He sneered. He said, "You are a disappointment, my son. You bow to a clown like Frieza. You play house with earthlings. You have forgotten your pride. You are no prince of mine." Those words hit Vegeta harder than any punch. It was exactly what Vegeta feared deep down. He feared that he had failed his father's legacy. He roared and flew at his father. He shouted, "Shut up! I am the prince of all Saiyans. I surpassed you long ago." Shadow Bardock looked at Goku. He did not speak. He just cracked his knuckles. He got into a fighting stance. It was the same stance Goku used. Goku looked at his father. He had never met Bardock. He only knew him from stories and visions. Seeing him now, even as a puppet, made Goku's heart ache. He wanted to talk to him. He wanted to thank him. But Shadow Bardock attacked. He flew at Goku with a savage scream. He punched Goku in the face. Goku blocked, but he was slow. He did not want to hit his father. Shadow Bardock didn't hold back. He kicked Goku in the ribs. He fired a blast of energy at Goku's face. Gohan watched them. He saw that his father and Vegeta were distracted. They were fighting emotionally. That was what Agent Null wanted. He wanted to separate them. Agent Null took this chance. He flew past the Saiyans. He headed straight for the baby pod again. The pod was still moving through the asteroid field, unaware of the battle. Gohan shouted, "Jiren, protect the pod. I will help my dad." Jiren nodded. He flew after Agent Null. Jiren was faster. He appeared in front of the pod. He crossed his arms. Agent Null fired a beam of dark energy. Jiren simply glared at the beam. His invisible wall of energy stopped the attack. Agent Null tried to go around Jiren. Jiren moved instantly and blocked him. Jiren said, "You will not pass." Meanwhile, Gohan flew to Goku. Goku was taking a beating. Shadow Bardock was relentless. He was using dirty tactics. He was biting and scratching. He was fighting like a wild animal. Goku was just defending. Gohan shouted, "Dad, snap out of it. That's not him. That's just a shadow." Goku looked at Gohan. He had blood on his lip. He said, "I know Gohan, but he looks so real. I never got to tell him." Gohan grabbed Shadow Bardock's arm as he tried to punch Goku. Gohan twisted the arm and kicked the shadow away. Gohan said, "Tell him by living. Tell him by protecting the life he gave you. If that pod is destroyed, then his sacrifice means nothing." Goku's eyes widened. Gohan was right. Bardock died to save Goku. If Goku let himself get killed by a ghost, then Bardock's death was in vain. Goku wiped the blood from his mouth. His eyes became serious. He nodded to Gohan. Goku said, "Thanks, son. I needed that." He turned to the Shadow Bardock. He said, "Sorry, Dad, but I have to beat you now, to honor you." Goku powered up. He didn't use Blue or Ultra Instinct. He went Super Saiyan, the Golden Warrior, the legend that Bardock started. Goku flew at the shadow. They clashed. This time Goku didn't hold back. He dodged a punch and landed a solid blow to the shadow's stomach. The shadow gasped. On the other side, Vegeta was fighting fiercely. Shadow King Vegeta was strong. He had the power of the void. He was using the Gallic gun. Vegeta used his own Gallic gun. Purple beam met purple beam. Shadow King Vegeta laughed. He said, "Look at you, fighting for others. You are weak. A true Saiyan conquers. A true Saiyan destroys." Vegeta pushed more power into his beam. He shouted, "You are wrong. My strength comes from my pride. But my pride is not just for me anymore. It is for my family. It is for my promise to Kaba. It is for Kakarot. It is for my daughter. That is why I am stronger than you ever were." Vegeta's beam grew larger. It swallowed the Shadow King's beam. It hit the shadow. Shadow King Vegeta looked shocked as the energy consumed him. He vanished into smoke. Vegeta panted. He felt the weight lift off his chest. He had finally said it. He had finally admitted that his source of power was his love for others. Goku finished his fight too. Shadow Bardock tried to fire a final rebellion spear. Goku countered with a Kamehameha. The blue wave washed over the shadow. As the shadow faded, Goku thought he saw a faint smile on Bardock's face. Maybe somewhere deep inside the void magic, the spirit of the real Bardock was watching. Goku whispered, "Goodbye, Father." Now only Agent Null was left. He was struggling against Jiren. Jiren was tossing him around like a rag doll. Jiren punched Agent Null into an asteroid. The asteroid shattered. Agent Null crawled out of the debris. His armor was cracked. His mask was broken. One of his purple eyes was visible. It was full of hate. Agent Null screamed. He said, "If I cannot destroy the pod, I will destroy the path." He raised his hands. He started to pull the void energy from the surrounding space. He was creating a gravity well, a mini black hole. He threw the black hole not at the pod, but in front of it. The gravity well started to pull everything in. The asteroids, the dust, and the pod. Baby Goku's ship was caught in the pool. It started to spin out of control. It was being dragged toward the crushing darkness. The navigation system on the pod was sparking. Bronoa shouted in their heads, "The pod is going off course. If it falls into that gravity well, it will be crushed. You have to save it." Goku tried to fly to the pod, but the gravity was too strong. Even light was being bent. Vegeta tried to blast the black hole, but his energy just got sucked in. It made the hole stronger. Jiren looked at the black hole. He said, "I can push it away, but the shockwave might destroy the pod. The baby is too fragile." Gohan looked at the spinning pod. He could hear the baby crying inside. He remembered Pan. He remembered how small and fragile she was. He knew what he had to do. He said, "I can fix it. I can erase the gravity well without an explosion. But I need you guys to hold the pod steady." Goku and Vegeta nodded. They flew to the pod. They grabbed the sides of the white sphere. They used all their strength to stop it from spinning. They fought against the pull of the black hole. Their muscles bulged. They were acting as human anchors. Gohan flew toward the black hole. The gravity pulled at his skin. It tried to tear him apart. He flared his beast aura. The red and violet energy protected him. He flew right into the center of the gravity well. He hovered in the eye of the storm. He focused his destruction energy into his fingertips. He needed surgical precision. He had to erase the void energy that was creating the gravity, but leave the space itself intact. If he made a mistake, he would destroy the solar system. He closed his eyes. He sensed the dark heart of the gravity well. It was a knot of corrupted magic. Gohan reached out. He touched the knot. He whispered Hakai. He didn't release an explosion. He released a frequency, a vibration of destruction. The purple light traveled through the black hole like a virus. It targeted the void energy. The black hole shuddered. It turned grey, then white. Then it simply popped like a soap bubble. The gravity vanished. Goku and Vegeta almost fell backward as the pull disappeared. They steadied the pod. The baby inside stopped crying. The pod's engines hummed. It corrected its course. It turned back toward the blue planet in the distance. Earth. Agent Null watched in horror. His plan had failed. He tried to open a portal to escape, but Jiren was already there. Jiren grabbed Agent Null by the head. Jiren said, "You are not going anywhere." Jiren looked at Gohan. He said, "Finish it." Gohan flew over. He looked at the assassin who tried to kill his father as a baby. Gohan was not angry anymore. He was just resolved. He charged a blast of energy. He said, "For the sake of the future, you are erased." Gohan fired the blast. Agent Null screamed as his body was completely destroyed. Not a single atom was left. The threat was gone. The four warriors floated in space. They watched the white pod fly away. They watched it enter the atmosphere of Earth. It turned into a shooting star. Goku smiled. He had tears in his eyes. He said that was close. Vegeta floated next to him. He looked at the burning red streak in the atmosphere. He said, "You were a noisy baby Kakarot." Goku laughed. He said, "Yeah, I guess I was." Kronoa's voice came back. She sounded relieved. She said, "Great job, everyone. The timeline is stabilizing. The scroll is restoring itself. You saved history." She opened the golden portal again. It appeared next to them. She said, "Hurry back. We have a lot of work to do." This was just the first attack. They flew into the portal. The journey back was smoother. They landed on the palace floor. The Grand Priest was waiting for them. He was smiling. But the smile didn't last long. As soon as they stood up, Kronoa gasped. She was holding another scroll. This one was also starting to smoke. Gohan asked, "What is it now?" "Which time?" Kronoa unrolled the scroll. The edges were turning black. The picture showed a green planet with blue grass and 3 suns. It was planet Namek. In the picture, a young Gohan and Krillin were hiding behind a rock. In the sky, Frieza was floating in his final form. But there was something else in the picture. Behind Frieza, there was a giant shadow. A shadow that looked like a demon. Kronoa said, "Oh no, they are targeting the battle with Frieza. If they kill you and Krillin on Namek, then Goku never turns Super Saiyan. If he never turns Super Saiyan, then Frieza wins. And if Frieza wins..." She didn't have to finish the sentence. Everyone knew what it meant. Gohan tightened his belt. He looked at his hands. He was tired, but he was ready. He said, "We have to go back again." Goku cracked his neck. He said, "Namek, huh? That brings back memories. I remember being really angry that day. Vegeta scowled. He said, I remember dying that day. I would very much like to avoid watching that again. Jiren stepped forward. He said, I will go too. The enemy is persistent. We must be relentless. The Grand Priest raised his hand. He said, wait. You need to recover your energy. Traveling through time takes a toll on your soul. If you go now, you might fade away. You have 1 hour to rest, eat, meditate. Then you go. Gohan sat down on the floor. He closed his eyes. He thought about the battle they just fought. He realized that this war was not just about power levels. It was about who they were. It was about their history, their memories. Kamba wanted to turn them into nothing by erasing their past. But Gohan knew something Kamba didn't. History wasn't just recorded in scrolls. It was recorded in their hearts. It was in their bonds. And as long as they had those bonds, they could not be erased. He looked at his father, who was already asking Whis for food. He looked at Vegeta, who was sitting alone and thinking about his father. He looked at Jiren, who was meditating. Gohan smiled. He felt strong. He was the god of destruction in training, and he was going to destroy anyone who tried to touch his family. Stay tuned for the next episode where the Z fighters return to Namek to save the Super Saiyan legend. They ate the food Whis provided quickly. It was a high-energy divine food that restored their stamina instantly. Goku ate 10 bowls of soup. Vegeta ate quietly but quickly. Jiren only drank water. Gohan ate a balanced meal. He needed his mind to be sharp. While they ate, Whis explained more about the time corruption. He said that Kamba's agents were like viruses. When they entered a timeline, they infected the people around them. On Namek, the agent would likely try to make Frieza stronger. Or maybe they would try to kill Dende, so the Dragon Balls could not be used. Kronoa added that the Namek timeline was very fragile. There were many moments where things could have gone wrong. If Piccolo didn't arrive in time, if Vegeta didn't rebel, if Goku arrived 1 minute late, the agent could target any of those moments. Goku wiped his mouth. He said, "Don't worry. We beat Frieza once we can do it again, even if he is supercharged." Vegeta said, "Don't be arrogant, Kakarot. We were lucky on Namek. If Frieza had gone 100% from the start, we would have all died. We cannot underestimate the enemy." The hour passed quickly. The Grand Priest signaled that it was time. Kronoa prepared the scroll. She looked worried. She said this corruption is deeper than the last one. The void energy is soaking into the planet itself. You might find that Namek is not the planet you remember. Gohan stood up. He transformed into his beast form immediately. He wanted to be ready the second they arrived. His silver hair flowed in the divine wind. His red eyes locked onto the portal. He said, "Let's go." They jumped into the light again. The spinning sensation returned. The flashes of memory returned. This time they saw green skies and blue water. They saw the Ginyu Force posing. They saw the giant dragon Poronga. They landed on solid ground. But it wasn't the grass of Namek. It was purple sludge. Gohan looked around. The sky was not green. It was a sickly yellow color. The 3 suns of Namek were black. The air smelled of sulfur and rot. Vegeta gasped. He said, "What happened? Where are we?" Kronoa's voice came into their heads. She sounded panicked. She said, "You arrived too late. The agent has already been here for a week. He has corrupted Frieza. He has corrupted the Dragon Balls." Suddenly, the ground shook. A massive energy signature appeared in the distance. It felt like Frieza, but it was cold and heavy like iron. It was mixed with the void. And then another energy appeared. It was evil and chaotic. Goku looked toward the horizon. He saw a giant pillar of black light rising into the sky. He said, "I think we found them." Vegeta flew up to get a better view. His eyes widened. He saw the Frieza Force ship, but it was twisted. It looked like a haunted house, and surrounding the ship were thousands of soldiers, but they were not normal soldiers. They were shadows, and floating above the ship was a figure. It was small and white and purple. It had a long tail. It was Frieza, but his eyes were red glowing pits, and on his chest was the symbol of Kanba. Frieza raised a finger. He pointed it at a Namekian village nearby. A beam of black death shot from his finger. Gohan shouted, "No!" He burst forward. He broke the sound barrier. He was moving faster than he ever moved on Namek as a kid. He had to save those people. He had to save the past. The battle for Namek had begun. And this time, the nightmare was real. The cliffhanger left them rushing toward a corrupted tyrant on a dying world. The stakes were higher than ever. Could they fix a timeline that was already broken? Stay tuned for the next episode. The battle for corrupted Namek begins.